Hey, what's going on, guys? Happy Wednesday. I got to tell you, I am super excited because, yesterday our book that we co-author called You Can Overcome Anything, Volume 8, just came out. And as a matter of fact, it's been making some big breakthroughs that we were able to hit #1 bestseller in the US and #1 bestseller in Canada. And I'm super excited for that. And more so than that, the people that are in this book are amazing people with all different backgrounds and different stories that they're definitely sharing with you so that they can impact you positively. With that said, I have one of the 10 co-authors of this amazing book, Allison Anna. Hey, Allison, how are you today?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here and speak a little bit about the book. And I'm definitely queuing the champagne right now and doing a little bit of celebrating because this is really big and I'm very blessed to be here.
No, definitely. I got to tell you, I'm definitely going to celebrate today because we definitely make some big breakthroughs, and the fact that we're able to get this to people literally around the holidays, I think is amazing. Before we dive in, though, I want to tell people a little bit about you, and then you can tell me more of your background, right? Because definitely you have an amazing story in your chapter in this book, and definitely people need to pick up a copy of that, which, by the way, you can still go and get a copy of it. There's going to be some links here, and there's an amazing offer right now, so make sure you take advantage of that. So Allison, she's an author, a self-made entrepreneur, and also an emotional intelligence expert, and has an amazing story. And so what do you tell us a little bit about your background?
Sure, yeah. So currently I am an owner and operator of Allison Anna Advertising. So I run a digital marketing agency. I live in the Midwest, so pretty much lived a very simple life up until now, and I've always just had these really big dreams and goals. And the last year, I've really just I've not held anything back. I've really just pushed forward and really went after it. So yeah, I'm proud to be here. The emotional intelligence part has really been a big piece of my life, and say the last 5 years or so, I've been doing a ton of inner work and healing from a lot of things in my life. Some of them self-inflicted, some of them, from external sources. But so I've learned a lot about emotional intelligence along the way, and I'm excited to share it with everybody that I can reach.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Talking about your contribution to this book, what was that one thing for you? Like you said, I need to write something and get something that I can share with the world. How was that experience for you, and where did the idea come about? Definitely jumping on something like this.
Yeah, so really, I've kind of just closed a few chapters in my life. One of them really being a lot of healing that I've done in the past year. So I really went back and healed a bunch of childhood trauma, really just all throughout my life. So as I'm kind of closing that chapter, which I don't think it'll ever really be closed, but I've done a lot of that work, and I have been waiting to kind of share my story with others who can benefit from it, and also the people that knew me previously and really didn't know what happened to me, a long time ago in high school and whatnot, when I kind of fell off the face of the earth. But my main goal, my bigger, goal and purpose is really just to inspire anybody that this book touches, and just to let them know that you can overcome anything, no matter your background. Everyone's, trauma is their own, no matter how big or small. They say there's trauma with a big T and there's trauma with a little t, but that's still your trauma, no matter what kind it is. So I think a lot of people who maybe haven't had, really terrible things happen to them can feel like their trauma isn't worth it, or it's not big enough to hurt this bad. But it is, because it's yours. And so that's really my kind of main voice and goal for the people that read the book and the people watching today.
Yeah, definitely. And when we talk about the even the title of your chapter is very powerful, and diving more into that, and I know there's definitely part of the title, in the name of the title, there's a big background, and there's that history and that story that people can definitely pick up by reading your chapter. Except again, it is part of your past, and is very powerful because it is just by reading it to me, it really resonates in a bigger aspect. So, a drug addict to living my purpose, right? Tell me more about that, because I think that again, that's definitely powerful in terms of here's where I was, then now here's where I'm going, and I'm living my purpose, and that's a huge shift. And sometimes people said, well, how can I make that big shift? Because even I know a little bit about your story. You've been on my podcast before, so I know a lot about your story. Which, by the way, for people that want to know more, obviously pick up the copy of the book, read her chapter, and also go to my podcast and listen to our interview, because it's very powerful, and people can definitely resonate with that. Again, you're, obviously high school, you were pretty, you had all these different things, yet there was elements that were missing, and that's where the possibly the drug abuse came about, and going from that to living your purpose. So tell me about that title of the chapter.
Yeah, so my addiction really came from, I believe, being an empath. So I'm an empathic person, and I really didn't know that young, early on in my life. So it was really kind of a struggle to deal with a lot of these really big emotions that I had, and anybody that I was around, I would just feel their emotion very deeply. Watching the news is a really hard thing for me to do, because there's a lot of really terrible things that can be on the news, and I just feel it so deeply, when I'm watching someone or with someone that's hurting. So I took a lot of other people's pain upon myself growing up, and I really didn't know how to regulate these deeper emotions that I had. And my parents, they did the very best that they could with the tools that they had from their own upbringing and such. But I really kind of fell, or sort of pushed myself to the wayside at a certain point when I was a teenager, and really just kind of got lost in myself in this world. And I turned to drugs eventually. One thing led to another. I smoked a little bit of weed, did something else, and it really just kind of spiraled out of control. And then I was in these situations that I shouldn't have been in, and did a lot of pain and hurt to myself and others. But I knew all along, I knew that I had these really big dreams and goals, and I never really let go of them. I knew that I was going to overcome this somehow, some way. So I went through some different counseling and things like that, and then really just kind of grew up and made a decision that I wasn't going to go back to the lowest points of my life. And then started kind of the healing process as I became an adult, and realized that some of these things that I had been dealing with and pushing down were seeping out into my adult life and being a parent and things like that. So then I really kind of went on this healing journey, and then started a business, and then found my purpose along the way, that it really just kind of sprang up out of nowhere. But I did a lot of work with God, and a lot of conversations with God back and forth, tons of praying to really just figure out what it is that I'm supposed to be doing here on earth. Because I know that I have a story, and I want to share it, and I want to impact people. But I really just didn't know that specific thing that I was supposed to be doing. And I still don't know fully, but I feel like I get a little bit closer each and every day, and with each success or accomplishment that I achieve. So
yeah, one thing that you mentioned, you actually mentioned a couple of different things that I have found throughout interviewing the other co-authors, and part of that is that we all have a past, or we all had something that took place in our past life, whether it was drug abuse, whether it was just being homeless, whether it was finding ourselves, or having this fear of something, right? And the one thing that I think is huge for people to note take is that our past does not define us, right? And although we could have probably had a different past, or we would have wanted things to be a bit different, nevertheless, that's what made us now, right? Who we are now. And I think there's a big differentiator between being able to understand what took place in our past and how we utilize those lessons, right? Because that's what it is, an educational lesson to make us be better. And sometimes through the journey, as you mentioned, you found God, and there might be other things that probably pushed you to start shifting little by little, whether it was the birth of a kid, or a relationship, or things of that nature, right? And so that was one thing. The other thing that you mentioned is you find your purpose. You definitely found your purpose, and you realize that there is a bigger element for you being here, and you have a bigger purpose than just yourself. And so I want to dive into that a little bit more, because I do believe that, again, people that are watching us right now, people that are going to go out and get a copy of this book, people that are trying to get out of the funk and create something bigger and better, specifically going to the New Year's, right? When we talk about New Year resolutions and all this stuff, which is all great and dandy, except a lot of people don't, they create this New Year's resolutions, and then within the first month they fail and they don't follow through, right? How would you say, with your journey where you said you did a lot of work, did you end up creating the base of saying, I need to make that change. This is not who I want to be, and I know there's something bigger and better for me down the road.
Yeah, so I'd like to say that it was, one kind of specific time or a huge transformational moment, but I think it really just kind of all these pieces of knowledge that I had learned, and each step of my healing journey had really taken me to a next level almost. But I think the one thing that I can say is, looking in hindsight, everybody is one step away from an entirely different life. And that is so completely true, because I lived in a pretty miserable, I say it was a miserable life. I mean, I love my family. I'm blessed for all that I have, but I lived very miserably, working full time at a job I wasn't interested in, going to school full time, letting all of these things take my time and attention away from what mattered the most. And then through my, healing journey and kind of getting all of these limiting beliefs out of the way and progressing forward, I, eventually started my business. And then I realized that, wow, it was literally that easy just to step out and do something that I absolutely loved and have dreamed of doing for years. And I wish I would have done it years ago. So I think the biggest message I want to get across about that is just that, anybody can make a change at any point and completely do a 360 in your life. It's not easy. It's, that it's a really hard thing to do. But some of the most challenging things in our lives that we can overcome bring the greatest rewards. So, some things like cutting out all of the negative and toxic things in my life in the very beginning, that was really important. Even coming out of my addiction days, that was the first thing I had to do, was cut out all of those friends that I had used with and everything that reminded me of using. So anybody looking to make a change in anywhere in your life, that's one of the first things that you have to do, is really just cut out all of that negativity. And then, you have to start creating, I like to call it like renovating your life. You create new habits and create a morning routine. That's a really big one. And even, if you have to completely renovate your friends, they say who you surround yourself with is who you will become. So, making all of that change in your life is not easy, but it's literally just one step away for anybody on this planet.
Yeah, no, I love that. And when you talk about it, again, it's not easy, right? You said it's definitely not easy. And it reminds me of a quote from Les Brown, and he talks about, if you do what is easy, your life will be hard. If you do what is hard, your life will be easy. And oftentimes, we are so afraid and have that fear of being uncomfortable. We have that fear of doing those things that are hard. In essence, like, again, although it's very simple, is having that daily routine of meditating or going out for a walk, listening to podcasts, reading this type of books, like those little things that might be simple, yet we find in ourselves so hard. And when we don't do those things, it really creates a much difficult life for us, right? When we think about your chapter, what are some of the messages, or maybe if I was to pick up the chapter now and I read your chapter, what is that one thing that you want me or the reader to walk away and resonate with that message that you're sharing in your chapter?
Yeah, so really, I really just kind of hit on everything that I, love to share in my chapter there, or that I did share, and really focus on in my chapter. But there is one thing that I wanted to share today that I didn't really talk about much in my chapter. I wish I had, 5 more chapters to talk about it. Maybe I will someday. Yes. But really, that there's healing and revival through God. So He has completely transformed me into a new person with a purpose that's way bigger and better than I ever could have thought of for myself. So really, just don't sleep on God. He's your biggest cheerleader, your biggest helper on your journey. And if you just sit down and ask Him to reveal your purpose, He will. So it doesn't always come in the timing. Anything you ask God for does not come in the timing that you want it to. And that's the hardest part. But I really felt a big nudge to get that across today. Other than that, your mistakes don't dictate your future. That's really kind of the tone of my entire chapter. No amount of wrongdoing in your past can dictate what you'll do in your future. Only you have the power to dictate that. So it really starts with your thoughts and how you think. What you think, you'll attract more of. So if you're out there and you're thinking negative thoughts and you're dwelling on what's going on in your life or what happened in the past or that connection you lost and that job you didn't get, you won't progress forward. You won't, have the tools in your toolbox and the thoughts to really progress forward. So just, pick the weeds in your brain every single day. That's really important. And that's been a huge part of my entire journey to, becoming a sober person, becoming a mom. You just have to stay positive. You have to really have those positive reinforcements there to progress and achieve what you want to achieve.
Yeah, and I think part of that too, you mentioned that is really again working on yourself, finding that purpose, realizing that you can definitely overcome anything, and you yourself recently decided to take a leap of faith and also left your kind of 9-to-5 job to really become a full-time entrepreneur, right? So tell me a little bit about what is it that you do now and how you can help people out in terms of what you're doing now.
Sure. So I do digital marketing. So basically we do Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Google ads, web design. We build funnels for really any kind of business. So we work with lead generation businesses that sell, a service, products, e-commerce, and also online coaches as well. So our kind of bigger goal with that is to help companies that are ethical and really get their products and services out there. And we look for those companies that are doing something good in the world. So, if they have any kind of bad ethical, structures within their business, that's not who we want to work with. And in that way, we kind of contribute to, putting some good back into the world. So we can really help with any part of digital marketing on any side for any kind of business, really, that fits our ethical guidelines.
That's huge. Where can people find more about you or connect with you?
Yeah, so my personal page right now is Facebook /AllisonAnna111. You can find me on Instagram, LinkedIn. Just search Allison Anna. My business is connected directly to my personal Facebook page at that URL, and sure you can post them in the comments as well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Or I can.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, and we'll have that there. We'll have that here. Again, this is the reason why I really enjoy the fact of the people that we have on this book, because again, there's a lot of different elements and again, people from walks of life. So you guys got to go out and get a copy of the book, the ebook, and we're gonna be having the paperback available pretty soon. So if you're looking to get an autographed, personalized copy, you want to go ahead and contact Allison directly so that she can get you an autographed and personalized copy of the paperback book. And for that, go ahead and connect with her for more details on how you can go about getting that book. Allison, anything else that you want to share before I let you go in terms of you being part of this journey, this book?
So this one really, I just have something very short to share here. This is for all the girls out there watching, or young women. Your beauty can get you into any room, but with important people, but your brains will keep you there. So just never stop growing, never stop leveling up. And I think we all need to root for each other, no matter what gender or what you identify as.
Yeah, I definitely love that. Well, Allison, once again, thank you so much. I really enjoy this conversation, and more so having you on this book, on this project. It is super amazing. And again, guys, go ahead and get a copy of it. There's a reason why we were able to get #1 bestseller of the US and Canada, and we're also had new releases in multiple categories. And so for a limited time, go ahead and get a copy of this book for a very amazing price point, and get as many copies as you want, because this is actually a good gift that you can give to people. And share this video so that people can get the word out. And I'm looking forward to you getting a copy of the book. I want to read your comments, get a copy, autograph, and personalized copy from Allison. Allison, thank you so much, and definitely happy Thanksgiving, and looking forward to speaking to you soon.
Thank you, Cesar. Have a great day.
All right, bye.